Sylvester Stallone has always been seen as a symbol of strength and determination. For decades, people have admired him as the man who brought Rocky Balboa and John Rambo to life. His story inspired millions around the world. But recently, Stallone sat down for a rare and emotional conversation. His words shocked fans everywhere. With a heavy voice, he said, "I didn't want to say this." At that moment, the world seemed to pause. This wasn't the confident action hero we had seen on the big screen. This was a man carrying years of struggle and untold pain. Stallone revealed that for most of his life, he kept his battles private. People saw the fame, the money, and the glory. They didn't see the heartbreak, the failures, and the sacrifices he made behind closed doors. He spoke about how, when he first came to Hollywood, nobody believed in him. Casting directors laughed at his face, his voice, and even his dreams. He was told over and over again that he would never make it. Stallone was so broke at one point that he had to sell his dog, his best friend, just to afford food. His eyes filled with tears as he shared that memory, saying it was one of the hardest decisions of his life. But the pain didn't end there. Even after Rocky became a hit and turned him into a star, the pressure only grew. Everyone expected him to keep winning, to keep being a hero. Stallone admitted that the weight of those expectations sometimes crushed him. He felt trapped by the very success he had worked so hard to achieve. As he spoke, it became clear that this confession was not just about his career. It was about his life as a man, a father, and a human being. Stallone said that the world sees the muscles and the action roles, but they don't see the quiet moments of doubt and fear. With a trembling voice, he hinted that he had been carrying a secret for years, something deeply personal that he had never revealed before. The audience was silent, waiting for him to continue. Stallone took a deep breath and said, "I didn't want to say this, but it's time people know the truth." Stallone began to open up about the dark side of fame. While people cheered for his movies, his personal life was falling apart. He admitted that there were many nights when he felt completely alone. Even when surrounded by crowds of fans, success had given him everything he once dreamed of, but it also took away things he could never get back. He revealed the pain of losing people he loved. His voice broke when he spoke about the death of his son, Sage Stallone. That tragedy left a hole in his heart that no amount of fame could ever fill. Stallone confessed that he blamed himself for a long time, wondering if his relentless work schedule and constant absence had pushed Sage away. Stallone also shared how his marriages suffered because of his career. His focus on building an empire meant missing out on simple, meaningful moments with his family. He admitted there were times he thought about walking away from Hollywood altogether, but every time he chose to keep fighting, just like the characters he played on screen. As he continued, Stallone spoke about the physical toll his action roles had taken on his body. Over the years, he suffered countless injuries. Broken bones, surgeries, and endless pain became part of his daily life. Behind every explosive fight scene was a man pushing himself to the edge. He revealed that there were days he could barely get out of bed, yet he still showed up to give his best performance. Through tears, Stallone said that he hid these struggles because he didn't want to disappoint his fans. People saw him as a real-life Rocky, someone who never gave up no matter what. He felt a responsibility to live up to that image, even if it meant suffering and silence. But now, as he grows older, Stallone realizes that true strength comes from honesty. He said, "I always thought being tough meant never showing weakness. But the truth is, admitting your pain takes more courage than any fight scene ever could." The crowd sat in stunned silence, realizing they were witnessing a side of Stallone they had never seen before. This was no longer just a Hollywood legend speaking. This was a man bearing his soul. Stallone then took everyone back to the moment that changed his life forever: the creation of Rocky. He described how the idea for the film came to him when he was at his lowest point. With only a few dollars to his name, he watched a small-time boxing match that sparked an idea. That night, he went home and wrote the first draft of Rocky in just 3 days. He recalled how he went from studio to studio, begging them to give him a chance. Most executives loved the script, but they didn't want Stallone to play the lead role. They wanted a big star instead. Stallone refused, saying that Rocky was his story, and he was the only one who could bring it to life. For months, he held on to his dream while barely surviving. Then, finally, a studio agreed to let him star in the film, but with a very small budget. Stallone said it was a miracle that Rocky even got made. When the film was released, it became a massive success. Overnight, Stallone went from a struggling actor to one of the biggest stars in the world. But he admitted that even in that moment of triumph, he felt a strange emptiness. Rocky was about hope, about believing in yourself, Stallone said. But after the applause faded, I realized that my own fight was far from over. Stallone described how fame slowly began to consume him. He was surrounded by people who praised him, but very few who truly cared about him. Hollywood became a world of fake smiles and hidden agendas. He began chasing bigger roles, bigger paychecks, and bigger dreams. With each blockbuster, the pressure mounted. Stallone admitted that he sometimes lost sight of the simple man who wrote Rocky in a tiny apartment. At the height of his fame, he felt like he was playing a role in real life, pretending to be someone he wasn't. Behind the scenes, he battled anxiety and depression, but he never let the public see that side of him. The more successful he became, the more distant he felt from himself and his family. This led to broken relationships and deep regrets. Stallone confessed that there were moments when he questioned whether all the fame and success were worth the sacrifices he had made. Stallone spoke openly about his greatest pain, the loss of his son, Sage. He said that being a father was the most important role of his life, yet it was the one he felt he had failed at the most. He described how Sage had dreams of his own, but the shadow of his father's fame often made it difficult for him to find his own path. Stallone admitted that he didn't always understand his son's struggles, and that distance between them grew over time. When Sage passed away, Stallone was shattered. He revealed that it was the darkest moment of his life, a pain so deep that he didn't know if he would ever recover. Through tears, Stallone said, "If I could trade every award, every dollar, every moment of fame, just to have one more day with my son, I would do it in a heartbeat." As Stallone concluded his emotional confession, he spoke about finding peace later in life. He said that he has learned to forgive himself for his past mistakes and to focus on what truly matters. These days, Stallone values time with his family above all else. He no longer chases fame or fortune. Instead, he focuses on creating meaningful stories and spending time with the people he loves. He told his fans that life is not about never falling down. It's about getting back up, just like Rocky. With a soft smile, Stallone said, "I didn't want to say this because I thought it would make me look weak. But the truth is, strength isn't about hiding your pain. It's about facing it head on and never giving up." As he stood up, the audience rose to their feet, applauding not just the actor, but the man who had finally shared his truth. Stallone's journey reminded everyone that even the strongest heroes have battles we can't see, and that true courage lies in telling your story.